Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, today I want to give you some very good tips regarding how to keep your kid, how to try to prevent your kid from getting sick at the beginning of the year, because it's something that happens a lot. When the new year starts for school, lots of young kids go back to school and it's kind of like all these germs and then the kids get sick and then the parents get sick and it's just this roller coaster for the first month that can be kind of stressful. And so instead of only learning how to handle that once it happens, let's talk about the best ways and what we can actually do to prevent or optimize the kid's body to have a good immune system, okay? So number one is actually bringing down total amount of sugar that's consumed. And so this is actually very important as oftentimes during the summer, sometimes during the whole year, but sometimes during the summer, kids can start to kind of, through vacations or different kinds of programs, they start to get their hands on more and more sugar. So as the school year approaches, a very good idea is just really try to bring down the amount of sugar, because remember, every time we have these sugar spikes, the immune system drops to by approximately 80%. So we do not want to have this huge drop in the immune system. So one of the things we want to do is really buffer that by bringing down the sugar. But as you're bringing down the sugar, the kid can get a little cranky. So you got to do something else, which is what? You got to push nutrients back into the body to kind of buffer this transition. So this is going to go into the second thing that I'm going to talk about. But just when I'm talking about sugar, oftentimes with kids, what you have to do is kind of do a bit of a trade. You can't just totally take it out, right? So some of the trades that you might be able to do is like you could do, for example, one fruit instead of a cookie, right? Because a cookie is going to have more refined sugar than a fruit, but make sure you still control the portion sizes, because a whole bowl of fruit is still too much sugar. So that's one thing. Another thing you can do is just use something like raw honey, maple syrup. You can also use xylitol, erythritol, Fiber Yum. These are all alternative, stevia, right? These are all alternative sweetener options that will help you to create treats at home that will still, you know, the kid would really like. And you can also buy some things that are called like keto snacks, where you could get like keto cookies and things like that. They're gonna have lower amount of sugar in these sweetener alternatives, and they're gonna have good fats in them, which will help to keep the kid nourished. Not to mention that good fats are important for bone development and overall growth and hormones for the children. So that's something that I would do. I would try to figure out what kind of strategies I could have. If my kid is really sugar addicted, then I'd have to really wean them off and maybe give them some of these alternative treats, like a keto treat, for example, like a keto cookie, keto ice cream, etc. It's just gonna have much better fats, much better sweetener alternatives. It's gonna be way lower carbs. So that's definitely something to do. So now as you're bringing this down, another thing that we wanna do is actually bring up the mineral quantity, the mineral supply in the body. So when a kid has been eating a lot of sugar, again, the mineral supply is being depleted in the body. When I'm talking about minerals, I'm talking about things like calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, etc. These things get flushed out of the body when a kid's consuming too much sugar. But this is also very important for the immune system, for hydration levels, for energy levels, etc. So we want to put those minerals back into the diet. You can do that a few different ways. One of them is to do bone broth. You can either make it or purchase it. Fond bone broth, for example, is a really great brand. Kettle and Fire is another brand. But you can also make it at home. So it just kind of depends on how busy you are. It's gonna be jam-packed with nutrients for the kiddo, and not only gonna help with bone development, overall growth development, but it's gonna help to boost the immune system. And the kid's gonna feel way more nourished. Is gonna be ready to start the year a lot more focused and a lot more settled, right? That's what we want. We want a kid that's more relaxed and less irritable, right? And we want to do that by bringing sugar down and bringing up the mineral and nutrient supply in the body as much as possible. So then when we're talking about supplements, there are probably a few different supplements that I really like to just boost the immune system of a kid. And one of them is from Standard Process, and it's called Congaplex. So you can get Congaplex Chewies, which kids love, and it's just whole food that is really good for the immune system. You're just feeding the immune system whole food supplements, and then the white blood cells in the immune system, they know what to do with it, and it just kind of boosts the immune system overall. Echinacea is another great herb that you might be able to find that's going to really also help to boost the immune system of the kiddo. So those are the main things I would do, right? Bring down the sugar, figure out some alternate alternative treat options. Maybe in the keto realm, you can find some snacks, cookies, even pancakes that are low carb. There's so many options now to share so that that transition isn't so rough on the kid. That's one thing. If you're gonna give them fruit, make sure you watch the portion size, and then you wanna bring up the mineral quantity. You could also buy these ionic minerals, which is just this liquid that you're gonna put in water, and then you just have them drink water with the ionic minerals. It's just gonna help resupply the body with minerals, plus bone broth, which is gonna be fantastic for overall nutrient supply for the body. And then lastly, I would say Congaplex is a fantastic supplement, or Congaplex Chewies for kids. It comes from a brand called Standard Process. Or if you don't have access to that, you might get Echinacea as something you could just feed them for the next few weeks as they get ramped up into the school year. I'm not guaranteeing that they won't ever get sick. I'm just saying the chances are going to be greatly reduced because the body is optimized. Not to mention they're going to be a lot more focused, because sugar creates a lot of dispersal of attention, a lot more irritability, lack of focus, more tiredness, and that's not how we want to set up our kids to actually go to school, right? But if you have lots of minerals, remember minerals, they're grounding. They come from the earth or rocks, right? So they're very grounding, and it helps the mind and the body just more relax, and that's why we want to feed that to the body as much as possible. So do that little flip and add 1 or 2 supplements if you want to, and your kid should have much better percentages of less likelihood of getting sick at the beginning of the year, and you'll just set up the kid to be able to study and be more focused throughout the year. All right, hopefully that was interesting and a nice helpful tip for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Share this with anybody who has kids and you think could benefit from this information, and I will see you on the flip side.